What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to an episode of Nuggets Today presented by Fan Arch. Obviously, we have some more stuff to dive into about yesterday's game. Starting off with the number one thing, and that is Cam Johnson. Now, Cam, man, what was that? I mean, listen, he struggled during the preseason. We sort of saw that he had his flaws in the system so far. I'm not saying that he has his flaws as a player because he is a great player. But with the team, he's going to have to learn, and we know that. And I'm not trying to say and sit here and overreact and say, oh, Cam Johnson sucks because we had a bad game. No, he doesn't suck. It was just a bad game, and he's still getting used to the system. But at the same time, like, you can't afford to do that. Like, you really can't, right? Like, there's certain players who need to step up when you're coming in for a guy who is putting up 17 and 7, I believe, were MPJ stats, 16 and 7 last year. For Denver, you can't afford to be bad. You really can't. It can't happen just because you're trying to replace that guy. You were there to replace that guy. And it was just a bad night overall. It was almost sad to see, I want to say. He was a liability offensively. I mean, you go back, you look at his stats: 5-3-2, 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, 3 fouls, 1 turnover, 1 steal. So at least he had the steal, and he played great defense on Jimmy Butler, which is tough to do because Jimmy Butler is a great player, and we know that Jimmy Butler is a guy who is a phenomenal, experienced NBA player, somebody who's been amazing these last 2 games. I believe he's averaging like 26 points the last 2 games. And he had 21, 5, and 6 yesterday. Shot 6 for 15, 2 for 4. So it's hard to guard that kind of player, and I understand that. But you have to attempt to match that offensively. Obviously, you go down the stat sheet, and the starting 5, Jokic had 21, 13, and 10 on terrible shooting splits. Jamal, 25, 3, and 10. AG, 58, and 2. And then CB and Cam Johnson were just not it. 2 guys who at the end of the game really shouldn't have been in the game. Hot take, very, very, very hot take. I think that Spencer Jones should have been in to close the game and just been a pest on Curry. CB and Cam Johnson, even Jamal, weren't able to do that. I mean, Steph went off 42, 6, and 7, shot 50% from the 3-point line while taking 12 3-pointers. I mean, Spencer Jones, a bigger body, should have just been there and been on him. I mean, how many minutes did he play? He played 6 minutes and didn't do anything offensively, sure, but he was a pest. And Cam Johnson wasn't doing anything offensively to be on the court anyway. I think that somebody who I'm going to talk about in a little bit here in this episode should have been in the game rather than Cam Johnson, who is a good player, and I'm hoping to see that the 40% three-point shooting Cam Johnson we all know, but right now we're not seeing that, and that is tough to say because I thought he was going to be such a great addition to this team, which he still can be, obviously, but we just haven't seen that yet from Cam, whether it be right now or in the preseason. The next person I want to talk about is somebody that we did see in the preseason, and that is Payne Watson. Payne Watson dominated in the preseason. I was sitting here hyping him up. I was saying I was so excited to see him. I really wanted him to be a great player. He's going to do so many good things for Denver. He's going to be the primary ball handler off the bench for Denver, something that Denver's been seeking. And he had 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, and 2 points, and 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. So you almost statted out at 2. Just 2 points, 2 rebounds, almost had 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, or 2 fouls. I saw nothing from him in the 16 minutes that he played. And again, I'm not trying to overreact because it is game 1, but you need more from a guy who looks so good during the preseason. That's why I hate the preseason, because you think these people are going to be so good and they end up not being as good. I do think that P. Watt's going to be a good player. We saw him struggle with the ball, and I thought that, like I just said, I thought he was going to be the primary ball handler, and we didn't see that from him. He got the ball, and he sort of just looked a little nervous to handle it. I mean, listen, he got to the basket here and there, but he didn't take any legitimate shots. He shot 0 for 0 from the field, 0 from 0 for 3, got to the free throw line 1 time, hit both free throws, which is nice to see. Only grabbed 2 rebounds, and the one thing I don't like about the bench unit is that he is so small at the power forward position, and you lose size, and it's tough. Val is huge, right? I think he's 6'10", 6'11", but he's a massive body. Payne Watson's a small body. He's a small power forward, and I don't think that you can play him at the power forward. I would have liked to see a guy like Duran there. I don't want to see Zeke play, obviously, but even if you're throwing in Spencer Jones, so it feels like a more physical body than Payne Watson is. I hope that Payne Watson could get to that level that we saw in preseason, and I think that he can. But at the same time, it sucked seeing him play the way that he played because he played so poorly. The next guy who came off the bench is a new addition for Denver, Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm so pleased with what I saw with Tim Hardaway that I was talking all day yesterday, or all night yesterday, all day today in the Nuggets chat about who should have been playing at what points. And the one guy that I think we all agreed on should have been playing in that fourth quarter when we needed him in the clutch time minutes was Tim Hardaway Jr. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 50% from the field, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, 1 steal, one foul. Him and Bruce were the only 2 players who didn't have a turnover. I mean, Bruce played well too, 4, 5, and 3. But Tim Hardaway looked great. That's the shooting that we wanted to see. That's all we needed to see. I honestly wouldn't have minded if Tim Hardaway was in the starting lineup at that point, or if you maybe start him next year. Next game. Will that happen? Obviously not. You're not going to take Cam out because of one bad game. But I also think it's time for DA to step up and say, you know what? I'm putting my foot down. This is my team, and you have to earn your spot, because that's all we've learned is that you are earning your spot, right? Cam Johnson, if he wants to be extended by Denver, he has to prove himself. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a guy who's coming in just over a vet minimum and prove that he's good enough. Listen, if you want to go small ball, what you do with your second lineup, play Cam on the backup 3 or 4 with Payne Watson, start Tim Hardaway Jr. for a game. You have to put your foot down and prove that this is your team. That's a hot take, because why take Cam out of the game? But I'm not saying Cam doesn't have to play. He played 32 minutes last night. Tim Hardaway played 22. Maybe you take 2 minutes away from Cam. You start Tim Hardaway, play him 24 minutes. Cam still gets 30 minutes, but he plays off the bench for a game. I just think that you have to strike fear in these guys. You have to sort of implement, the fact that you are the leader of this team. This is your team, and you want to take that step up. And you don't have to please everybody. It's not a pleasing game. They're professional athletes. You have to put your foot down and say, if you're not going to step up, and Tim Hardaway wanted to, let Tim Hardaway start. And you know what? If Tim Hardaway sucks the next game, Cam Johnson's good, then you start Cam Johnson again. You have the opportunity to actually play more than one guy in this starting 5. You could even start Bruce Brown and drop CB to the 3. Like CB, who also played very poorly. But listen, you just extended CB. He's locked into his team. Cam's a guy who just got here. Tim Hardaway's a guy that just got here. Maybe, just maybe, you start Tim Hardaway, strike a little bit of fear into Cam Johnson to really step it up before you start him again. And again, that's a hot take. I know that people won't agree with me there, but that is just how I feel right now. As somebody who coaches, it's high school basketball, but as somebody who coaches high school basketball, has played basketball, the only way that you really get motivated is if you have a bad game, they sit you for a game. Not that he's going to sit, but that you don't start. The next thing I want to talk about is Ari reported on X that the Nuggets are potentially sending Deron Holmes down. That is not set. That's why I said he may be sent down to the Grand Rapids Gold. So he might be done for maybe a few games, but I think they just want him to develop more, which is completely fine. Like, what are you going to do about it? He didn't play. He didn't do much. Why not just send him down, let him develop a little bit more if you're not going to play him, if you don't have, opportunities to play him. And if you're going to bring in Spencer Jones to be the guy who's going to play, then so be it. Let Spencer Jones be the guy who's going to play and get those defensive minutes. But that is all I got for you today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.